Hello everyone and welcome to another Paint With Me session. This is Bianca, an aspiring watercolorist from the Philippines who loves to teach. This time, we will paint this lovely sunset scene requested by Miss Rose. So if you haven't already, please visit the link below where you will find the reference photo, and this is where you will upload your paintings as well. So, if you're all set, let's get started. I have here my first attempt of the painting, and I am not so happy because of the waves here. So what I'll do is I will give more space to the sky than to the sea. So here's my watercolor paper. This is Strathmore 500. My Holbein paint, and I will use my Princeton brush here and a smaller round brush. This too. We'll also need pure white paint later because when I first tried this scene, I tried to leave out those white spaces, but there are no sparkles in the sea. So what I'll do is I'll just use pure white paint later and don't worry about leaving out white space on the paper. I'll also draw a guideline where the sea is. A basic composition principle that we will apply is the horizon line should be lower than the half or than the center of your paper. So if your center is around here, we will move our horizon either lower or above. Okay? It's either lower or above the center. So maybe I'll put it here. And this will be the whole sky. And this will be the sea. Okay, there you go. Next, we will do wet on wet for the sky. So, let us prepare our pigment. I'm going to use one yellow, one pinkish color, and one blue. I'm checking my reference photo. Okay, maybe I'll place the sun here or off center. Then I have here my clean water. Like what I did here, I will leave out the shape of the sun. So if you can follow what I'll do. We will leave out a small circle shape for the sun. And one more thing before I lay down my colors for the first layer. The area farther from the sun should be darker. And what I'll do is I will wet the whole area except for the circle of the sun. Then I will drop my yellow color followed by the pink color, and then lastly my blue or blue-violet color. What you want to avoid is for the blue and the yellow to touch each other, or else you will run the risk of having green on your sky. Okay, let me repeat that. Avoid your blue and yellow touching together. That's why we'll add a pinkish color in between them. should be visible, I left out a semicircle shape around here. I'll start with my yellow. Followed by my pink. And lastly, my blue and blue-violet. While still wet, I will also lift up some color. So what I'll do is I will rinse my brush, tap it dry on my rag or tissue paper, and lift up cloud shapes. There you go. My sun is not the perfect semicircle, but I can fix that later. What I'll do now is I'll leave this to dry and then I'll work on the C. Okay, it's dried out, but I have a funny blooms here, hard edges. Let me try and fix this. Let me wet this again. And I'll just use my brush and scrub lightly to get rid of those edges. And one more time, I will lay down the colors that I used earlier. My cloud shapes. Okay, since this is such a hard edge over here, I'll shift to a smaller brush and I'll scrub around this shape. I'm softening the edge of the sun. Okay, there you go. I'll leave this to dry one more time, and while doing that, I'll promote my Skillshare class, which is somewhat related to this. See you in a short while. Do you love landscapes but find it hard to paint foliage? In this Skillshare class, I will share with you 3 simple techniques on how I paint trees. Hi, this is Bianca, an aspiring watercolorist from the Philippines, and I am happy to share with you what I've learned for the past 2.5 years by painting daily, attending online classes, joining workshops, and participating in competitions and exhibitions. Classes are presented in real time so you won't feel lost. I will share with you the materials that I use, how to paint a smooth background, 3 simple ways in painting trees and foliage, and finishing it off with details. Whether you are a hobbyist, a beginner, or would just like to explore watercolor, I hope to see you in this class. Let's start painting! Thanks for waiting! So now let us work on our sea. Generally, the sea should be darker than your sky. So, sorry. I will mix my Prussian blue. This is darker than my cobalt blue. I use cobalt blue for the sky. And sort of a violet. I'll add pink to give it more of a violet tone to it. Let me check my reference photo. Yeah, so it's darker. I'll use this. I won't worry about the sparkles for now. I'll just use white paint later. Oopsie. We'll add boats later as well. So it should also be darker towards us. So this part should be darker as well. I'll add another layer of my Prussian blue there. And while it's wet, I'm just going to add long lines to suggest the waves. I'm using my whole hand, not just my fingers. There. I'll even add neutral tint to my mixture now. Here's my neutral tint. I love this color. There you go. So it's darker than the sky. While the sea is drying, let me add birds. And I will position my birds in a way that they are pointing towards the sun. They are scattered, but they are sort of pointing towards the sun because I want my viewers to look at the sun first when they see this painting. I will use my neutral tint color for the birds. And let's just use the letter V and the letter V shape. like this. And what is this? An open V? Let's do that. So pointing towards the sun. Oops, too big. Let me also add yellow ones. Dark yellow one. There you go. My sea is still wet. So what I'll do is I'll add mini waves like this. Okay. And lastly, we will add our boats. So let us leave this dry first and we will add some boats. Maybe I'll do 3. Yeah, 3. 2 big and 1 small. And let me see if we will still need this. I don't know what they are, but they're in the background. Okay, let me just leave this to dry. Here you go, the sea is dry. I'll add in my boats now. So neutral tint for the body. And like a letter triangle, on triangle shapes for this. Like a letter D. So looking at the reference photo, there's something happening in the background. Maybe I'll add them. Random shapes. Excuse me. And to make it more interesting, I will vary the length or the height of these things in the background. There. Finally, I will grab my white paint and add some sparkles. So in adding those sparkles or the reflection of the sunset on the sea, we will keep them aligned here on this base. I might also mix them with a bit of yellow. There. Okay, and finally my semicircles looking funny. So let me try and fix that. Okay. Yeah, does it look better? So let's see. Here you go. So here's my second try. And here is my first try. Which one do you like better? That's why I will always say everything is hard to do the first time. So if you need to repeat a painting just to give yourself another chance and to prove that practice or guided practice makes progress. Okay? So I'll wait for your own version of this painting by submitting it by checking the link below. And hopefully I can give you guys a short feedback for all your submissions. I hope you enjoyed today's quick session with me. And please stay safe. I'll see you next week. Bye!